If you walk in and you say, I'm pretty sure I can identify this person. You got, what's it, 5, 6, 7 odd people in a lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Can there be inaccuracies? Can there be a time where somebody chooses somebody and says, I'm 100% sure, but they are really not at all sure?
Ooh. So there's kind of 3 questions in your question. Yes, people can be wrong. Yes, people can be wrong about how confident they should be, but generally people are not too wrong about how confident they should be. Yes, absolutely, people are wrong all the time. Not all the time, I shouldn't say it that way. People are often wrong, and we are often a little overconfident in that task because we have the experience of, kind of like what you and I were talking about earlier, remembering each other's faces just fine all the time. When you've seen somebody before, when you've had a conversation with them, we are pretty awesome at encoding and then remembering and recognizing each other's faces because it's a memory stimulus we use ourselves all the time.
Isn't it something that's really ingrained as a child? They say that babies can recognize their mother and or father like this out of a group of people. That recognition is incredible. So if you're born with that, you use it all the time, where does it fail?
It fails because it takes us some time to truly meaningfully encode somebody else's face. So there's this other side to this whole question, which is that faces are all pretty darn similar. Everybody's face has the same general shape, unless they have an injury or something like that. They have the same general features, right? So people look pretty similar. We all have this. So it makes it a kind of interesting memory challenge, which is tell apart all these different stimuli that have all the same features on them. It's not the same as telling a truck from a car. It's like telling 5 different BMW 3 Series from each other or something. So that's an example I show in class. So it has this kind of deceptive element to us where it feels really easy because we do it all the time. And there's maybe kind of an aha moment when you do definitely recognize somebody, and that feels it feels so good to us that we maybe lean into it when we shouldn't. But the main reason people lose track of their memories of criminals is because in an eyewitnessing situation, you see the person usually for a split second, and then they're gone, and you maybe don't even see their face in full pointed right at you. And you certainly are very likely not interacting with them. Even if you are, there are all kinds of other things that make memory a little more wobbly in that situation. So there's a really well-known effect called the weapon focus effect. So if a criminal has a weapon in a situation, you're looking at the weapon because you want to make sure it's not pointed at you if it's a gun.
The face is really incidental in this case.
Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, we naturally are drawn to each other's faces for the most part. And some people might have the feeling of, well, I know I'm in this situation, and so I should memorize him in case I need to identify him later. But some of my recent research shows that even that process of thinking doesn't really help people. We can think, I want to memorize his face, but we don't have a good intuitive sense of how we memorize each other's faces. Because when we naturally memorize each other's faces, we aren't really consciously thinking about it, and we are, it turns out, absorbing each other's faces holistically. But when you tell someone to memorize somebody else's face, they zoom in on individual features. So if I was trying to memorize you, I would go, okay, he's got those glasses, and I would look at your nose and try to remember the shape of it, and maybe see like the exact shape of your beard or your mouth, or find a feature that stands out maybe, or try to think about the features individually. But when I'm just talking to you, I'm looking at your face, and I'm not looking and zooming into those individual things, and that is a better process for memorization of faces, it turns out. So we call that holistic versus part or featural recognition in faces.